Hi guys, this is Amy from Little Farm Quilts. I'm going to try to get the camera stop from moving for a second. There we go. Oh boy, has this been a process today. Who knew that last week when I announced on YouTube and Facebook that I was going to post a video every Saturday, that it would become such a challenge. So sorry, I'm going to keep adjusting this video just a little bit. You guys will have to give me feedback on the comments below as to how the lighting is in this video, because this is attempt number 3, real life. I just want it to be as good as it can be. Had it all recorded once and the video or the audio didn't come through, so that's a problem. Had it all recorded a second time and it wouldn't upload. So this is a third time, and this is a different location, so I'm hoping this makes all the difference. But I have lots to talk to you about today. We did the cross-stitch floss tube last week, so this week is a quilting video, and it is called Hanging by a Thread. Matt and I were sitting up in the living room trying to figure out what to name this quilting video, and he was throwing out tons of names because he's really good at that part of it, and he came up with Hanging by a Thread, and I thought, well, that's kind of cool, because really sometimes lately we are. It feels like that's what we are. It's the strangest thing. We had 4 kids, 2 from a previous marriage, 2 from my marriage with Matt. Matt and I have been together for almost 24 years, and for a lot of our life raising kids and just being busy young adults, we were busy all the time. Barely had spare time to get anything done, and here we are, empty nesters now, and it seems like we're even busier, or maybe we're as busier, and because we're as busy and because we're older it feels busier. I don't know, but here we are in the filming portion of my sewing studio. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that below this video is a tour of my sewing studio. There are plenty of other videos. There's tutorials, there's some cross stitch, there's some quilting. We just decided that if we split it up a little bit, the cross stitchers wouldn't have to watch the quilting stuff, and the quilters wouldn't have to watch the cross stitching stuff if they didn't want to. So we did it this way. So welcome to my Saturday. Like I said, this is attempt number 3, and I think it's got to be somewhere around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So this will go up as soon as I'm done filming it, and you guys will have to give me feedback. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell so that you'll get notified when new videos come up, and like my videos so that I know that the content is something you want to see. So let's get talking about this. First thing I want to talk about is the most common question I get asked is, how do you get so much done? If you've been following along for a while, you know that I'm a nurse by day. I'm a long arm quilter by nights and weekends. I long arm quilt for other quilters. I piece quilts of my own. There's a whole number of things that I do. I also like cross stitching. I do a lot of crafts, so you may see tutorials for other craft items that I do on this channel from time to time. But quilting is really where I started, and how I get a lot done is I stay organized. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about a little bit was I have a planner. Let me get it out from all the stuff. So it's a quilting planner, and here I have a planner, and like for this week I had just 3 goals here that I had written, really loose kind of goals. This is about my YouTube videos, what topics I kind of wanted to cover, and then down below you'll see in the evening hours the plans that we have with family and friends. So my goals this week were simple. They were to starch and cut 2 blocks, and I'll talk to you more about that later. They were to photo shoot finished items for my Etsy shop, so if you would like to visit my Etsy shop, follow the link below. I do put finished items in there pretty regularly. And to load a quilt that my mom sent for me to long arm. And that's all. Those are things I wrote down last Sunday, and here it is Saturday. I've starched the fabric for the blocks. I have not cut them, nor have I done the photo shoot, nor have I loaded my mom's quilt. However, Most of my quilting stuff is done on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, and Saturday's almost gone already. I might get some sewing in today, but most likely it's going to be a full day tomorrow. And I've learned not to stress about if I don't get them done. They're goals. Is anybody going to be harmed if I don't meet those goals? No. So it's just about keeping myself organized and where I want to focus. So we have that. The second thing I get asked is what are my favorite tools. So I'm just going to share a couple rulers with you. These are my favorite rulers that I use, and I'll share different things down the line. This is a 2.5 by 8-inch ruler that I think I picked up from Missouri Start Quilt Company. I have medical tape on the back, no shock, since I'm a nurse. And I do that so that when I lay it on fabric, it doesn't slide all over the place and I can cut. My second favorite ruler is one that we got in a sew box that I used to subscribe to at Fat Quarter Shop. It's from Creative Grids. It's a 4.5 by 8.5 ruler. And I use these two rulers so much that they are right next to my daily sewing machine at all times almost, unless they're at my cutting station because I'm cutting out blocks. So that's my tool corner. I do have this long ruler. It is a 6-inch by 24-inch ruler. And this is not a favorite ruler of mine. I actually would like to upgrade to one I've been eyeballing that's a little more money. But it is easier to use, easier for my old eyes to read. So I'm going to try to pick that up soon, as soon as I can get it on sale with a coupon, because that's kind of how I like to do things. But that's it for my tools. I'm going to talk to you about some things that are going on, things that I'm working on. On every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I do a sew along right on my Facebook page. The link is below. If you want to join along, it's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday night. It's Trees on Parade. It's my pattern that can also be picked up at my Etsy shop. And it's easy. I'm using a jelly roll, which is a roll of 2.5-inch strips. It's easy to cut, easy to piece, and I'm just going to show you some of my blocks. I have to trim these up and square them up. If you've been following along long enough, you know that I'm not the most perfect sewer. But it gets done. My goal with this quilt is to have something that's either big enough to hang on a quilt rack that I have hanging on my wall in the living room, or that's big enough to lay over the back of my couch for Christmas time. And tomorrow I will be doing another live, and I'm hoping to get another 4 or 5 blocks done. Sorry, I have dogs wandering around down here. I'm trying to keep track of them. And that's the Trees on Parade blocks that I do every Sunday night. We have a few quilters that are joining us in this sew along, so it's kind of interesting to see what everybody's doing. I like it when they tag me. You can do it hashtag Little Farm Quilts in your social media. I can search it and I can see what you're working on. I love to see what people are doing with this and making it their own. One of the other things that I'm working on right now is Fat Quarter Shop had a 2019 Designer Mystery Block of the Month Club. I signed up for that. I'm a little bit behind in that one, so that's where the starching and cutting comes in. I have block number 1 that I did. 5 blocks have come out so far. This is block number 1. This is block number 2. This is block number 3. And I have the fabric all starched for block number 4 and block number 5. I have not had time to cut it yet, but I'm looking at it right now. It's hanging over there. It's dry, ready to cut. So I will trying to get that cut today so that I can have those sewn up this weekend, and I'll be able to show you the next time that we go live. One of the other things that I've learned on this journey of me and getting to a long arm and free motion quilting for others is how to build up my confidence in my free motion quilting skills. In order to do that, I spent a lot of time watching other YouTubers do long arm quilting. People like Angela Walters was a big one of mine. One of her YouTube shows is called Midnight Quilt Show. I encourage everybody who has an interest in free motion quilting to go look at those shows. I don't think they're making any more of them, but it definitely is something to go watch. And I got inspired by her. So she has very frequently done these free motion quilting challenges. I participated in, completed 3 of them. There's one that I have everything to do that I haven't done yet. And then one that she's just starting, I think this coming week, that I have everything to do it with. And I'll be honest with you, I tend to do these challenges after they're all done. So all the videos are out and I can load my long arm with the practice piece and I do it all in one day. So this challenge starts next week. I probably will not do it here at Little Farm Quilts until the videos are all done and I can spend one day doing it on my long arm versus tying up the long arm for several weeks waiting for videos to come out when I merely have customer quilts that I need to be quilting. So I am going to show it to you though. This is a picture of the panel. I hope you can see that. And it came with a thread set. So let's undo these. I bought the thread set with it. I always do. Her thread sets include glide thread. I exclusively quilt with either glide or superior threads on my long arm. And I say exclusively for this reason. Those threads, I can quilt a project on my long arm and not have any issues generally from start to finish. Other threads I've tried on my long arm and I do tend to have a little bit of an issue with them from time to time, whether it be breakage or tension issues. So I have just learned in the time I've had my long arm that glide and superior threads are the 2 threads that work fairly well in my machine 95% of the time. So I work with those threads because it's less frustrating. So she has a thread pack for her panel. This one is Zephyr. It's kind of a bluish gray. They have plastic sheeting over them. This one is called Cherry. This one is Lemon Ice. And I actually believe I have some of this already. I'm looking over there from a different challenge. This one is Mint. And I'm looking because most of my glide threads are hanging on the wall over there. I don't think I have this one at all. This one I may have. It's called Raven. And it's a purple. And I'll show you part of this panel. It's really pretty. It's not a pieced panel. It's a printed panel, which makes it nice because then you can practice your quilting and none of the piecing issues. And this is the backing, which I just absolutely love this backing because it looks like a quilt design and I like that. So I'm looking forward to that, but again, that starts next week. I probably will not do it here at Little Farm for several weeks anyway because, like I said, I want to load the long arm up once, do all of it at one time, probably in one day of practice, and that works out really, really well for me. I did notice that I have another one still. I forgot that I had one set aside from another challenge that she did that I haven't done yet. So I may, one of these days, load that one up and do that one while I'm waiting for all the videos to come out for this one. I think I got it and then I got busy with other things. One of my other dogs came in. So if you hear the clicking of toenails, you'll know why. Alright, other thing I wanted to talk about. I wasn't going to do this and I think that I am now. So I have purchased a couple books published by It's So Emma. I believe published these with Lori Holt. Lori Holt has Bee in My Bonnet Company blog. Yep, published by Fat Quarter Shop. It's So Emma. So I just want to make sure to get that right. And this is the second book I've gotten. The first book I got was called Farm Girl Vintage, and that's this book. And if you followed me on social media, you've seen this book before because I've shown it, because I love looking at them. I'm just going to show you some pages. Not some patterns, but some pages. And they're just pretty quilts, and the books are put together really well. They're spiral bound, so they lay flat on your work table, and they're just nice. They have good photos, good photo shoot. But this is Farm Girl Vintage, and I guess they did a sew along with this book. When this book came out, I was really busy getting ready for a show. I do one show a year. This year was my first year doing it. I think I will continue to do it as long as she'll have me for more shows, but I'm already scheduled to do it next year. But I don't typically do like craft shows, quilt shows, art shows. I just do my private work, and then that's good. But I think when this book came out, I was getting ready for that show, and I didn't do a lot of work with this book here. I'm looking at the other one because I did make chickens. I did, for my show, make some of these chickens. Let me see if I can find the picture. And I made a table runner with this barn too. Okay, I'm going to show you the quilt. See the barn block in this quilt? Isn't that the cutest thing ever? I'm trying to find the one with the silo that I made for the table runner. But I don't want to show you. Oh, I'll show you I'm going to cover this part. Can you guys see that? That's the table runner I made with the barns with the silos. That's actually for sale in my Etsy shop, I do believe. And I made some of the chickens. But I didn't do the sew along with this book because I honestly did not have time at the time to do it. I felt like I don't know. I just didn't have time. I don't know. I made some chickens, and I made that table runner, but that was it. So she has many books out, guys. These aren't the only 2 books that she has out. She came out with another book called Farm Girl Vintage 2, and I was just trying to find that chicken for you, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I think it's probably farther over. Oh, here it is. Found it. Chicken. I did those. I actually have some of those. I don't know if I have a big one for sale on my Etsy shop right now. A big 12-inch block that's in a chicken wire frame. So head on over to Etsy if you're interested in that. But I just did a couple blocks. Anyway, I was perusing the internet the other night, and I found that she came out with a second book. I had already bought it. It's called Farm Girl Vintage 2. The same type of book. It lays nice and flat. It has beautiful photography. Nice color photo work. This was also published by It's So Emma at Fat Quarter Shop. And I really, really like the book. I have not made any blocks out of this one yet. This one's cute too. Look at the scarecrow. And I found that on her blog, she's having a sew-along. It started yesterday. It is called Farm Girl Fridays. That's the hashtag. And I am actually going to do it. So I'm going to put a link below to the Bee in My Bonnet blog where you can find all the information because it's not my original idea. I will tell you that the first blocks for this week are this pumpkin. Let me see if I can get it closer. That pumpkin and this pie with the mitts. Those are the 2 blocks. And the beauty of these books is you can make, the directions in this book are to make the block either 6-inch or 12-inch. So you see how this quilt is set apart here. See, some of the blocks are bigger, some are smaller. You can choose to do it however you wish. I'm going to put it here so you don't have glare. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to make them exactly like they're shown on here or what. Probably. But we'll see. I think some things I like big because those are the things that interest me. And the flower blocks are small. Although they have a beehive block, I might make that one bigger because I'm a beekeeper. And that's what excites me about this time of year, because it's winter. We're going into winter. I know it's only fall, but we're going into the weather when it's not so nice to be outside anymore. So there's really not a ton to do with the bees now that we've got all the honey extracted. Well, we have 6 more frames in the garage that we have to do, but basically all the honey extraction's done. And I can spend a day down here sewing and not feel guilty about it, except for today when we had so many video problems. But I think I might have that solved too. I talked to my sister on the phone, and we may get my nephew involved on getting my videos up on YouTube. That way I can record them, drop them to him, and he can do all the editing and get them up, and I don't have to worry about that. So I think we might have a solution there too. Stay tuned, because this will continue to evolve. If you have followed me for any length of time, you know that we've changed spaces. My sewing room has moved, I think, no less than 3 times since I started this channel and doing my Facebook Lives. Now I have everything down here in the basement, where I have this nice filming area and cutting area. I have my long arm is here, a nice L-shaped desk for sewing and for crafting. I have a huge ironing area for ironing big pieces, and I have a small cutting and ironing area next to my machine. And actually, I really like it down here. This is kind of like my happy place now, so I think it'll stay here, but it does continue to evolve, and making things appropriate for filming, for tutorials, making sure the lighting's good so that you can see. I enjoy all the feedback that you guys give us on anything that we post, because A, if you don't like it, I'm just going to stop posting, because there's really no point. B, if there's content that you want, by all means comment on either here, Facebook, Instagram. I do take those pretty seriously, and I'll do tutorials on things that people request. I have taught people in their homes. I've had people here that I've taught. I think sewing, for me, is very much important to my mental health. That and music, I would say, and I'm spending time with my husband, are the 3 things that keep me mentally kind of sane. But I like the space. It's fun. So I enjoy any feedback. 2 more things. Anybody out there make project bags? I make project bags mainly for my cross stitch projects, but I have made project bags for hand sewing, stitching, like paper piecing and things like that. I went ahead and splurged and got myself a couple of rolls of vinyl by Annie. So I'm planning on putting together a few more project bags. I have some panels over there of fabric that are set up at my long arm that I'm going to stick on there and quilt up and use as the backing. I forgot some paint chips, but the other thing that comes up this time of year is Bonnie Hunter puts a mystery quilt out. It actually, the colors and the name of the quilt and the finished size of the quilt, along with some other details, get published on Halloween. We are excited. One of the things she does is she tells you the color chips. There's Sherwin-Williams color chips. I went to Lowe's and got my color chips, but I left them over on the other desk where I was filming before. But I did bring my fabric over. If you're interested in doing the mystery quilt with Bonnie Hunter this year, I'm going to put a link to her blog below. Please click over. It is all her idea. It is something that's near and dear to my heart for a lot of reasons. The first year I did the mystery quilt, I was actually working on my bachelor's of nursing at the time, and I was pretty stressed out, pretty amped, and my mom suggested doing it with her, I think as a way of stress relief. I ended up not doing it when everybody else was doing it, but I saved all the instructions and did it when I was done with my bachelor's in the February of the following year. And since then, I've done the mystery quilt every year. This will be my 4th one this year. This year's is called Frolic, and I encourage you to click on her link and head over to her blog. And I'm going to show you some of the colors I picked. I did not bring the paint chips over, but So the first color she gave was like a cranberry color. And I pulled several fabrics. These mystery quilts I commit to doing out of my stash. So I just pull things out of my stash, and whatever works, works. And I think these will work just fine. Now, a lot of these fabrics were gifted to me, so that's awesome that I get to use them. And I think I have enough of this color. The next color that I'm going to show you is kind of a blue, and these are like a lighter kind of gray blue. These, you see there's quite of a variance in this. This one I'm kind of stuck on. If I had the paint chip here, you'd see why. I think I need more, number one, and I think I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit to be able to pull it out of my stash. But that's that. The next color is a teal, and I have more teal, so I'm not worried. I think I've lost one of my clips to fasten the stuff. I have my fabric. If you've never seen pictures of my fabric storage, I actually have my fabric put on comic book boards, and they sit up in storage like this so that I can see the colors, and they're actually facing my sewing area so that I know exactly what colors I have. But this is the teal, kind of a light aqua, and I pulled these from my stash. And I actually think some of these I used in a previous mystery on Ringo Lake. I'm pretty sure. So the constant in this quilt, Bonnie Hunter calls it a constant. You'll find that on her blog. She'll describe what that is called Parakeet. And here's another one where I have kind of a range of colors. I'm trying to get this straightened out so I can show you. This is another one where I'm going to have to tweak it a little bit out of my stash. Bonnie has chosen to use a solid piece of yardage that she had. I think this is probably the closest to the paint chip color. I think I'm going to be scrappy about it, and I think that I have a little work to do to figure out kind of what greens I'm going to put in there. The last of the colors, well, the last are colors too, but is like a navy blue, a deep navy blue. So these I have, and some of these I was also gifted, so it'll be nice to use those again. And a couple of these I actually used in last year's mystery quilt, Good Fortune. And then I pulled some neutrals. So she's got some neutrals pure white and some like a creamy beige color. So the pure whites, I pulled these. I'm kind of a sucker for a white with a print like this. The only thing about this is you have to be careful. If you're going for a neutral, and let's say you're cutting out a small square, that's not going to read neutral if you cut out a small square from here. So you have to kind of be careful about cutting. But there's lots of area that I could cut out here, and I have several fat quarters of this that it would read neutral. And the other neutral she has chosen has been more of a creamy beige color, and those are the ones I've chosen so far. And I think what I'll do is next time I will show you the paint chips so you can see exactly what I'm going with this. I meant to show them to you today. I just don't want to step away from the video again after so many problems today, but I will show them to you. Maybe I'll post a picture on my Facebook page and you guys can see the paint chips there. This is all the fabric I'm going to pull. The quilt actually starts, I think the first clue drops on Black Friday, right after Thanksgiving. And I'm looking forward to that. I also have scraps in what I call a scrap user system that's designed by Bonnie Hunter, you know, loosely around what she does. I will pull those scraps whenever I can in the colors that I need as well. So I have plenty of fabric to choose from. I'm not worried. I typically just try to force myself in the mystery quilt to work a little bit out of my wheelhouse and stretch myself to create more and to make colors work. And for me, it's very much it's fun. I like it a lot. I enjoy it. I'm thankful for her for doing this. And please click over on her blog if you're interested. You can follow along with a group of us that are doing it at Little Farm Quilters out over on Facebook land. And we just kind of try to encourage each other. It's a lot of small pieces and it seems daunting at first, but the way she breaks it up, it's one step at a time. So it's kind of easy. So there we go. First episode of Hanging by a Thread. Please comment below. Let me know what you guys want to hear, what you want to see. And like and subscribe to my channel. And hit the bell so you get notified of more videos. Okay, guys? Have a great Saturday. I'll see you next week. Bye.